What is good, people? Welcome back to another video. So I've made a big decision and I have made the big purchase and bought my new camera. As you have seen by the title, you probably already know that it is the new SONY ZV-E1. Got the camera right here. I've only used it once so far. Let me tell you a little bit about why I decided to buy this little tiny camera compared to everything else that's out there. I had two cameras I was tossing up between buying. The Lumix S5 Mark II. Now, one of my best mates, Declan, has this camera and it's pretty insane. I was obviously looking for a full frame camera as I've been using this Lumix camera, which is not full frame, for the last nearly 8 years now. I've had this camera. It was a gift from my grandparents and I just ended up using it, and for its time when I got it in like 2014, 2015, it was an absolute beast. But obviously as time gets on, tech just doesn't keep up for that long. I wanted to get a full frame, which is more professional, more cinematic, better low light, just better in general really. But obviously they come at a lot higher price. So I was looking at getting the Lumix S5 Mark II. This camera is so reasonably priced, but then out of nowhere, Sony dropped the ZV-E1. It is the smallest full frame camera in the world. Of course there's some drawbacks to this, but the image quality coming out of this is absolutely ridiculous for how small it is. Yes, I would be spending a lot more on this than I would have on the Lumix, but this thing can do 4K 120 uncropped. That in itself says a lot. So after finding out about this camera and just seeing the crazy features it has, like AI autofocus they call it, AI tracking, and once again, who doesn't want to get the Sony autofocus? Just Sony autofocus is the best. Yes, Lumix has better colors, I think, and that's what most people say, but Sony have the best autofocus. And that's a big thing when you're a vlogger and you're on the go filming. And while speaking of on the go filming, having such a small little light camera like this is just so useful. Yes, it's plastic, so I have to be a little bit more careful, but just having something so light and small and point and shoot is just... I've only been able to use this camera once so far, which is a video I've already filmed before I'm filming this, and the footage has come out amazing so far. I don't even really know how to use it properly. But when I did end up looking deeply into this camera, after it just came out, I decided to make the big decision and buy it. Now bear with me guys while I go through a few of the reasons and specs why I got this camera, because I'm still not the most clued up. I have had this camera for 7-8 years, but I was never that clued up really. But looking into this, I've learned a little bit. So first thing I'll say that's really useful is the microphone directivity. So basically the microphone can hear from the front if you're vlogging and you have the camera facing you, or if you're talking and you're filming, it can listen to you from behind, or if you're filming someone and they're speaking, you can, again, it can listen from the front. And then you can also just choose all directions. So it's really versatile and it's just great not having to put a microphone on top of the camera, and especially when you've got a camera that's so small like this. It comes with this little wind reduction thing. I need to know what I'm talking about, but yeah. It comes with that. There's the microphone. And you put this thing on top of it to stop any wind and also protect the microphone if it's raining or anything. Then again, a downside to this camera, it's plastic, it's not metal. It doesn't feel cheap, but it just is plastic. It's not weather sealed and strong like other cameras are. It only has one SD card slot, something I don't really care about, to be honest. I've been using one SD card slot for 7-8 years on and off when I have been into cameras and using cameras, and one SD card, same SD card, has done me well all those years, so that's not the biggest bother to me. And then again, even though this camera is so small, it still uses a regular size battery of any other camera. So just because you're getting such a small camera, you're not risking or sacrificing low battery life like you would be on, say, something like a Sony RX100 or something like that. Some really good things about this camera is like the AI tracking, the AI autofocus, things like that. They call it AI. Is it really AI? I don't know. When I went out one morning to try to film a sunrise, which wasn't a great sunrise at all. I tested out a few things on this camera, like the autofocus, which is just ridiculously fast. Like coming from a Lumix GH4, which the autofocus is just like look at this, like, come on mate. There we go. Back on my face. That was actually really good for the Lumix. Trust me, it's not that good usually. But this is just lightning fast, like it is ridiculous. Just, it's so beautiful just to use, and I can't wait to use this camera more. And another crazy thing is just the low light. This thing is like night vision. It has 400,000 something ISO, which is just crazy to me. Coming from a camera that only has 6,400 ISO, going from that to 400,000 is just... Some other cool features are the features like the input LUTs on this camera. So you already have cinematic LUTs built into the camera for different lighting and different vibes, which is quite useful, as right now I'm not the best at color grading or anything like that. But so far guys, the footage that has come out of this camera is absolutely beautiful. I can't wait. I'm actually about to edit that video where we went on a 3-day hike and I ended up bringing this camera just for the nighttime shots when we were around the campsite. One drawback, this camera is mainly focused on video. It only has 12 megapixels. The Lumix GH4 has 16 megapixels. I'm aware that it's not all about megapixels when it comes to taking pictures and stuff like that. I'm not that into photography or anything like that, but I do want a camera to take decent pictures if I ever want a really professional thumbnail. But then again, the more research I did, the more I found that this camera still takes pretty decent photos anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. One huge thing that heaps of people are afraid to buy this camera is because of its overheating issues, and a lot of other Sony cameras have as well, is overheating issue. And it's funny because the Lumix S5 Mark II, which I was going to get, has an exhaust fan on it, so that thing can never overheat. But then again, it's a lot bigger and I'm trading lots of other things for it. That is one reason why I bought the white camera, because it is going to attract a lot less heat in the sun. That is going to help it not overheat as much. Like, I know it's not going to do much, but if it doesn't cost me anything to get white and it doesn't affect me in any other way, I'm gonna buy white. And yeah, this thing just fits in my camera bag so well, which I will show in the future. I have also bought a new camera bag, which I'll show in another video. And I also stated in my 2023 gear setup video that I wanted to upgrade, which I have upgraded now, but I'll show that in a video upcoming. So if you're wondering what lens I went for, I ended up going for the Tamron 17 to 28mm. I wanted a vlogging lens, but also being able to zoom and get some cinematics if I wanted to. And obviously I wanted a full frame lens because I don't want to deal with using an APS-C lens on a full frame camera, so I just bit the bullet and bought a full frame lens. The lens is like bigger than the camera, which is funny. So if you're wondering how much this camera costs, the body alone is 3.8 thousand Australian dollars. I'll put the conversions up on the screen. But yeah, that's very pricey. But personally, I think it's worth it. The marketing around this camera is strange. They call it a vlogging camera, and then heaps of people say it's too expensive for a vlogging camera. I wouldn't call it a vlogging camera. I would call this a content creator camera. You can get pro level quality out of this in such a small little camera. Another thing I wanted to do, guys, is I wanted to future-proof myself. The way tech is going these days and how fast things are upgrading, I do not want to buy another camera again for a while. Even though I've had a camera for so long, I like buying something and then using it for a few years and not having to keep buying new things. Anyway, that was just a little video on an update on my new camera. There's a lot of hype behind this camera, so I wanted to let you guys know what's going on. I hope you enjoyed this video. The next video is a really good video. It's a 3-day hike with my mates, and we ended up bringing this camera and just a GoPro. If anyone knows, my GoPro died. Luckily, Jesse J came in clutch and lended me his old GoPro Hero 7. But yeah, if you guys watch the recent videos, you know my GoPro died. So yeah, don't want to talk about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Thanks for watching. Just so I'm putting the clips on my laptop, guys, one more thing I want to say is I will do an update video 6 months down the line using the ZV-E1 and let you guys know how it goes. And if you guys are also interested in me doing a review on the Lumix GH4 7/8 year review, please let me know in the comments below, because that's a video I'd definitely be interested in doing.